You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, this is AFTERBUZZ TV for Justified. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest Justified news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, picking up where the show leaves off, and the buzz continues.
Justified! All right, thank you for joining us,
I always
everybody.
forget that's coming up.
I know,
Yep.
Another AfterBuzz podcast of Justified. We're in Season 3, Episode 5, entitled When the Guns Come Out. I'm your host, John Comerford. I'm joined in the studio by Tamara, Berg.
Hey.
Lovely and talented. Steve Bottomley.
Hello.
Also lovely and
And
talented.
in the booth, at the board, we got Ronnie Jr.
Hello.
There it is. All right.
Ronnie at the board.
Okay. A lot happening in this one. Crazy. You know, Raylan, of course, is just nuts. His mind's a mess because he's read the letter that Winona has written for him. The really, as he calls it, terse letter. I'm sure.
that must have been written at gunpoint.
At gunpoint, yeah. So his mind's a mess, and he's ready to take some time off, and actually asks Art to do so before he gets into it. And then Art says, "Well, no, you can't."
Well, but
Okay.
no.
I don't know if stuff happens before. I mean, there are two things that are really going on in this. There's that storyline, which we got to cover. And then the other storyline is what happens at the beginning, because we have the two young ladies. They go into, by the way, nice underwear. Good.
Right,
What?
yeah.
So that was kind of
I got a point on that.
What?
Please do.
Why not do a back shot and just pretend like they actually flashed? You know what I mean?
I don't know. Maybe
Because it
Victoria's
just-
Secret did a little promo or
I'm
something.
guessing. I
Little
don't know.
product
I just
placement, you think?
because I'm looking and because it just seems like you do it and you show the bras and then the guy goes, "Thanks a lot." You're like, "What?
Really?
You didn't, what? You got to see the."
He didn't offer any beads. It's Mardi Gras. You'd think the
I
beads,
guess
right?
there was no beads.
That's
I
what it
just
was.
didn't understand. Why not do it from the back and pretend like you saw something?
It
Whatever.
just didn't happen. But anyway, so they go in. They show up at the Doc's place. Well, this is the doc that Boyd hired, you know, to help sell things and stuff. And that, boom, that thing gets hit. So that sets a whole thing in motion.
Yes.
So before Raylan has to deal with that, that's when he goes into Art and says, "Hey, yeah, oh, by the way, before he does, he starts checking up on Winona.
Winona.
Right away.
That was
sure.
nice.
With calls,
Sure.
you mean?
Yeah, calls to Gail. We don't know who Gail is.
Her
I didn't
sister.
know.
That's her sister.
I know
Oh,
now,
oh,
but
sorry.
at the beginning when I was hurting, I was like, "Who the hell is Gail? I've never another character we have to get used to. I've never met Gail. I didn't even know it was
And
a
again,
guy or a gal."
That's the thing about this show. He didn't say, "Hi, Gail. I know you're Winona's sister,"
Yeah,
and
no,
I
they
thought you
just
might. They didn't bother with that because that's not how they would speak.
Yeah, and they know
drop
they're
you in
gonna
the
answer
middle.
later.
Yeah,
So they don't have to explain it now.
Exactly.
But and also, I like that he's at a desk and he's looking through somebody's computer. You don't know who, you don't know what, and then the new court reporter comes in. What the hell are you doing at my desk?
and Costa Rica.
Yeah, Costa
on
Rica.
the
Yeah,
thing. So he's like going, "Is
this your?
he needs
You're
to
checking
know,
up on Costa Rica?
He needs to know if it was her or if
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
Winona.
So you know him, and he's already spinning all kinds of things. So he's really off his game because he's really concerned about that. And then instead of going upstairs, what does he do? He goes downstairs to the evidence locker room. And we have not been in there since season 2.
Yes.
Yeah, early in season 2.
Early season
yeah.
2. Yes.
So and we get to see Charlie again. We haven't seen Charlie in a while. You know, he's the guy that's
Keeper
takes
of-
care of the
Keeper of the gate.
What a weird job. That's all. It's like,
Dude, it's like he's in a cave,
he's in a
right?
cave and he's there 8 hours a day or whatever it is.
Just a big ring of
Big
keys.
ring of keys, and he never gets out.
Keys to the castle.
I mean, that seems like an odd job, right? But that's what he does. And of course, Raylan goes down to check the box of money that went missing back early season 2 when Winona took it, and they had to sneak it back and stuff like that. And there's no money in the box. Dun dun dun. Dun, dun, dun.
But now here's a couple of interesting things about that. Charlie was watching him.
Right. Yeah.
Charlie kind of knows something's up,
yeah.
and he knows now. And I'm
Because
wondering.
before, I don't know if you remember season 2, he didn't really care too much. He didn't follow you.
Nope.
He just gave you the keys.
No.
Yes.
He just gave
But
you
it
the-
wasn't
go ahead.
until they started to have to get the money back in the investigation where
His interest was
his
piqued.
interest was
Yeah.
piqued.
Right.
So when the second 20 pinged
Yeah.
with Treasury,
Yeah.
so I don't know. I was curious to know if he was aware of it. I don't know how he would have been because I'm sure they would have gone to the chief first. With
Who,
that.
Charlie?
What do you mean?
No, if Charlie was aware that
That the dollar.
the
Well,
$100
it didn't
pinged.
ping
bill.
until after he left.
Yeah, because he's the one.
He's
who,
the one that
Oh,
Dropped it.
after he left.
Yeah, he's the one who
okay,
dropped
first
it.
of all, can we just explain? It's been a long day for
No,
some of us.
It's
It's
been
been
a
a long
week.
3 days.
Okay, and why? Go ahead,
Right,
Tamara.
but we were doing film coverages of films after AfterBuzz
breaking down films,
podcasts of films, which is the first time we've done that at the Oscar Gift Suites.
Yeah. At the Kari Feinstein Oscar Style Lounge Gift Suites at the
that's
Mandarin
right.
Hotel on
You-
Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood, California.
You
Some
said
of us
that a
said
few
it a
times
lot
a
more than
couple of
others.
us.
That's right.
We all three of us did podcasts.
Yes.
John, you did The Artist, Hugo, Iron Lady, Descendants.
Yes.
And,
No.
not Descendants.
Moneyball and Midnight in
Moneyball
Paris.
and Midnight in Paris.
Right.
You broke down
Moneyball, but I was
Moneyball.
also on the tech side.
Yeah, you were.
making sure that everything was running well.
And
Right.
Tamara.
As was Ronnie in the booth. Ronnie,
Yes, Ronnie.
awesome job.
Ronnie did a great
Yes.
job of getting guests for us. We had a lot of people coming by.
I
We
swear,
had
Ronnie, you
Stephen
can
Bishop
talk-
from Moneyball.
Yeah, he played.
we had-
Justice,
Catherine,
Dave Justice.
Dave
Catherine
Justice.
Stockett, who wrote the book that
Book
The Help was
yeah.
based
We
on.
had the producer
She-
of the movie The Help,
Yes.
Brunson Green.
Yes.
And one of the stars, Anna O'Reilly, excuse me.
But
This is the real reason why we're telling you all this. Who stopped by?
bridesmaids got a Justified.
Yeah. Erica. They got Rachel
Rachel.
from Justified.
Yeah, she was hanging
stopped
out
by.
with bridesmaids, and I was like dying. I was like,
Erica
"Oh,
Tazell. And,
And
we think we've coaxed her. Ronnie, you
No,
please
that's what I was
let
gonna
us
say.
know.
Erica Tazell, I'm not certain on the last name, but yeah, she was wonderful. When
She
she
was a
did,
delight, very
yeah,
gracious.
when she did the interview and then off camera as well.
Yeah.
Her publicity, team, they want to send her back here in our
Yeah.
AfterBuzz studios, and another Justified cast
We
member.
told her
also.
how much we like the show. We're big fans, and we asked her to come by, and she was
It's-
very
it's gonna
receptive to
happen
it. We
very
hope we're
soon.
trying to make that work with get that happening with her people.
A lot of people that were coming through were intrigued, loved the setup, just didn't have time to step in, or they said, "Oh, I didn't see the movie. I don't know what I'm going to talk
I mean,
about."
a lot of people didn't.
Well, yeah,
They weren't ready.
here's the
They
thing.
weren't camera ready. They didn't. They weren't. made
That
up.
was that too. A lot of them were not camera
They didn't want
ready.
to say that, but that's what we found out later.
One of the biggest. One of the people that had the most pictures taken with him that everyone's like, "Oh, I got to get a picture of this."
Right.
John Ratzenberger from Cheers, Cliff
yeah.
Clavin. Everybody wanted to have their picture taken with this guy,
I
and he
love
was
that
really, he
character.
was just like, "Oh yeah, okay, he's
extremely gracious.
easygoing."
Yeah,
How
wonderful to
fabulous.
have.
He was great to have. He
Anyway.
was also on Bridesmaids.
Okay, so-
Bridesmaids got everybody.
So that's why a lot of us.
So we're kind of a little slower today.
little
We're all a
slower
little
today.
tired.
So
Everybody's
that's the
feet,
caveat.
Everybody's feet hurt.
That's the caveat.
Okay, so the big
but it was a
news-
great time. But also, I just want to one
Yeah,
more
go
thing.
ahead.
I just want to suggest to listeners, if you are interested in some of
film
the
and
films, we
breaking
had
down
some really amazing. We had a ton of research done
Yeah.
and lots of really good conversations. So do watch them. We did 10 films over the 2 days. So do look for them on the AfterBuzz TV
I
website.
will say that what Stephen Bishop was talking about on Moneyball.
Oh,
Yeah.
fascinating.
And all the different things that
Working with Brad
all the
Pitt
inside and all the
yeah,
inside stuff
yeah,
is
inside,
well worth finding it
yeah.
and checking it out.
Yeah, they
so.
were really good shows. Really good shows.
And
If I say so myself.
every single one of them was just as nice as could be.
Oh yeah, all the
They
stars
are
coming
all
by, yeah, so-
wonderfully nice people.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
there you
yes.
go.
Especially being just come by spur of the moment, just dropping by, and
Yeah.
saying, asking them to come up, and they say, "Okay, sure."
Yeah.
Because they're fans like us. They just want when you're watching a film, you're just a fan.
Yeah.
So anyway, okay. So getting back
So
to
there
so
we go.
it was a real big deal, especially for. It was great to have Erica come by because we hope to have her in the studio here
Yes.
with us. Getting back to Justified. So as we were getting back to that, Raylan's mind is not right because he's worried about Winona, and just when he asked for Art to say, "Hey, I need some time off because Winona has left," and Art. It looks like Art's gonna say, "Well, okay, I guess," but I love the way they did this because Raylan says something like, "No, I don't need a pep talk," and that's not at all where Art was going.
Not for
And
a second.
And Art's looking at him like, "You dummy! You need to go up to Harlan County because there's been a shooting."
Yep.
And it would happen in your Aunt Helen's property. So,
You know, we were talking, and we're going to bounce around a little bit.
yeah, we are going to bounce around.
We were talking about the 100 pinging. I thought it was really interesting. So we're talking about Art and Raylan, how Art opened that conversation. He goes, well, now we have to talk about something awkward.
Oh, you mean later in the show?
Later in the show, when he's talking about that 100
You mean more awkward than what we've already been
But
talking
isn't it
about?
interesting how he said awkward? So he's referencing back to, I know you guys took the money.
Yeah.
I saw it, I know, and we haven't talked about it. And when you wanted to, I said, we're not going to talk
have this
about
conversation.
it.
Right.
So, awkward conversation. He's thinking, come on, you can't do this twice.
Yeah.
And I thought that was great, a great way to open that with that phrase. We're gonna have that awkward conversation.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of small things in that this episode
really
for this. Well, for me, there was a lot of those small little moments.
Yeah.
That just kind of. Maybe because I'm tired.
Since we're talking about it, though, let's go even further. So they find out the second ping happened in El Paso.
Mm-hmm.
So they obviously know. Again, for those of you who don't know or haven't read a map recently, El Paso's right on the border. That's why it's called the Pass. The border town of Juarez. And so that's where you cross. I used to live in El Paso, so I know this well.
And my TV shows are airing in El Paso.
There you go.
Were you ever a mule?
Yeah, yeah. Back when I was 5. So.
Is that where your shows are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, so the second 100 pings there, and that's when and Raylan says, "Well, have anybody checked with Charles or Charlie? Because no, we haven't seen him. He called in sick on Tuesday, and we haven't seen him since." And that's when Raylan has been so busy and caught up with the other thing that it's gone. It's not even part of his thinking. And that's when, of course, we see Charlie. In all you get, the little hint you get is you see the Federale car, the Policia Federale. Mm-hmm. So that's how you know he's in Mexico.
He has crossed the border.
He's crossed the border, which I thought, you took a red convertible. You want to be inconspicuous? You took a red
Brand new.
convertible.
It still had the deal.
Yeah, exactly. So he bought a brand new red convertible.
Yeah.
I was like,
just for
really?
this trip. Yeah.
He said first day of my retirement.
Yeah, wherever the road takes me. Okay, now who was? This is one of those things. Who's happy that Charlie has a nice little retirement package?
Yeah.
It's a victimless crime that he committed.
Yeah, because that money,
really
there was there's no trace to that money.
No.
It was kind of like money that should never have been there or whatever it was that
Never went back to the bank. The bank didn't care.
Exactly.
And my question on it was, did Charlie get away with it, or are we going to have to visit him again?
I think Charlie got away with it. I think that was a
I
way
think
that
he
was
got
it?
away with
wrapping
too.
up that story.
That was one of the characters that didn't die.
Exactly.
To get out.
That's how he got off the show.
Yes.
And the music playing as
He
he
rode
leaves.
into
I mean,
the
that's a
sunset.
classic, right? Off into the
Yeah.
sunset with a nice music playing. I mean, I
In a
think
red
the guy got away
Corvette.
with it.
I think
This
so.
guy who's been stuck in this hole, 8 hours a day for 20 years or whatever the hell it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Finally got his payday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm, it's like, okay,
All
go
right.
ahead. Yeah, it's nice.
There's one happy ending.
exactly.
on
'cause
Justified.
we're not gonna have too many of them, so you might as well take them where
I
you get
really
'em.
like how after he gets that ominous warning from the Federales, he just starts laughing when they drive
Exactly.
away.
It's a
like,
dangerous
you have
country.
no
a lot
idea.
of desperate men. Yeah.
You have no
Yeah,
idea.
man. Good, so many desperate men there is.
A small
Alright, so-
moment. When Boyd reaches down in the bar
Mm-hmm.
and where he's talking to Johnny about, after the thing gets hit. And again, you see that skin tattoo. They did a
Right.
nice tight shot on that skin tattoo. And you had a thought on that, or you had
Yeah,
read.
I think it's just that. Yeah, Graham Yost had mentioned it. I mean, Walton Goggins has done such a good job of being charming and all that kind of stuff that people forget he's a bad guy. And obviously was it last week or the week before? Then when he shot Devil. That's when they needed to remind people this is not a good guy. He's a bad guy. He does bad things, even though he might be charming, might be sweet to Ava, all that kind of stuff. You can never remember. You never forget that. So I think they're finding ways to remind people of that. So.
And I think they have to, because you're seeing him more and more with Ava, and that
Yeah.
softens him.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
he really does care for her. I think
Yes.
if he was going through all this by himself, he wouldn't need those little reminders.
Yeah. He'd be, more like Win Duffy or something.
And I'm distracted by his bone structure. I mean, he's got
Dames.
this, he's got those strong cheekbones and then he articulates so carefully and uses such gracious language. It's really distracting sometimes, and it's very easy to get caught
Distracting,
up in his charm.
disarming to you.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes, I don't carry arms, but yes, it is disarming.
He charms you.
He charms me.
So the hit happens, and it's again violence right up the bat. I mean, right off the
away.
bat. When the girls are in there, and
Right away.
poor doctor, right in the middle of I can't say it.
A pleasant interlude.
I don't know what kind of exam he was giving.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
getting.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it might have been an oral exam. I'm just saying.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
You would say that, wouldn't you?
So yeah. So and Tanner's the one behind it, but we don't know who. At this point, we don't know who put Tanner up to it. So everybody,
Right.
of course, thinks it's Quarles.
Yes.
I mean, and that's when you speaking
Almost
to the scene you were
everybody.
just talking about. Yeah, when Boyd's in there, Johnny's he's convinced it's Quarles. We should hit the other trailer. I know where it is. We should go hit him hard. And Boyd, this is where Boyd's really crafty. And he's the guy that knows that Quarles is a smart man, and he knows that that's not really a smart move. So he's not convinced, and he says we're gonna have to, we got to figure this out first.
I really wish you guys were here last week, not because Phil and I didn't have a great time,
And you
but
missed us.
We missed you, but there was a great moment where when Boyd and Quarles have a meet,
Yeah.
and Quarles says something. I wish I could remember what it was, and Boyd, you see just a moment of, holy crap, who are you? It's just quick, but just enough to get past that. I'm in total control.
Was this the carpet? This was the carpetbagger
Yes,
conversation.
yes. At some point in there, and
Who had that look? I'm not.
Boyd.
Oh, okay.
Boyd. Usually where he's like got everything.
Cool as a cucumber. Yeah.
Yeah, but Walter Goggins as the actor just did such a great, amazing job at pulling that brief moment off. So when he talks about Quarles or Detroit, it is with this guy's dangerous. I need to be on my A game around this guy. I know he's dangerous, and I know I can't second guess
And
him.
the other thing is, I think the reason why he's so reticent is not because he doesn't think he can best him. He just doesn't know he doesn't know the measure of the man, as Mags used to say. He's not sure exactly
How this is all gonna roll
and
out.
exactly what his agenda is completely, and who's backing him. He's not exactly sure the play yet because he doesn't know the whole thing yet.
I see Boyd down in the holler and everything. He's 10 plays ahead, and he's and he's just waiting for people to catch up. But when he's with Quarles, I think he's lucky if he's 1 or 2, and I think he knows that. And I think it's and based on what's coming up, I think that gets shortened too.
Yeah. Because this whole thing sets off a firestorm because, they're ready to get Quarles and, and then Boyd, of course, says, I'm not sure. Let's go figure this out. And who does he go to? But Limehouse. Because Limehouse knows everything.
That was the best. That was the best scene in the episode.
That's right. And
because just as I said, Boyd knows everything. Boyd doesn't know everything.
He doesn't know everything.
And the way they did it. You know that, man?
Oh, it was so good.
And then he
turns to the guy at the bar, at the counter eating.
Bo
Crowder.
Son of Bo Crowder.
Yeah.
Brothers,
Yeah.
And then Boyd's jaws drop and realizing that's our job.
Our job is to know everything. Why you don't know us is a question for you to ponder.
Yeah.
And that's true.
The invisible class.
Yeah. So that was great. Very rich, full scene and stuff like that.
Do you know when he went to visit them? Did you notice the framing of the outside of that house and how the open windows? It was almost like a Dr. Seuss sort of.
No, I didn't see that.
You didn't notice it?
No, I didn't.
Again, it was one of those small things that I just
I noticed some odd contraption made out of pipes or something on the outside.
Yeah,
when they were
there was
walking
that.
out,
But just the way that the windows were up and just the way that maybe it's the light or the lens, it was just a really interesting look for the outside of that. And again, maybe I'm tired. Anyway, another small thing. Like I said, there's a lot of small things in this one for me. So
I really love the repartee between
Boyd and Raylan.
No,
right?
I'm not going there yet. I'm going with Raylan and Trooper Tom. Can't remember the trooper's name.
No, I'm not sure what his
trooper.
name
I
is.
think it is because he calls him on the phone.
I just love the way that because they have this real good shorthand going on here, and they kind of rib each other, and it's like, you didn't know this was going on? I didn't. When I lived here, I didn't even know what was going on, and all that kind of stuff there, and you just. Great old dialogue. They've known each other for a long time. They're professionals, colleagues that know all that shorthand. I just like that stuff.
Yeah, and it's one of the things that we've always loved about this show is just really getting into the characters because it makes us as audience members watch it and feel like we're part of that group too.
But here's the downside to that. You really notice other shows that tell you too much.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The expos.
I know you're her sister, but I was wondering if you had seen her.
Really distracting.
It is.
and you just kind of go, and it really it's difficult once your ear. It's kind of like your ear's now trained. And once it's been trained, and now it's really difficult to sit through a show that isn't that good or doesn't.
Well, but that's difficult for me and for any show that's not that good. You got 5 minutes. No, okay. Hey, you know what I thought was really cool in this one was the way Timothy Olyphant playing Raylan was able to carry that tension of Winona consistently.
Yeah.
You know, because newsflash, they don't actually film it sequentially. They do bits and pieces. But he had that same, not completely distracted.
Yeah, but you could sense it. It was all. He was on his game.
He was not on his game all the way through, and it was consistent all the way through. The only time it got a little bit deeper is when he was talking to Tom, asking about the bolo, or when he had to talk to Art. But other than that, he kept it at a really good level of it's there. I have to deal with it, but I have this to deal with
and
also.
They kept talking about asking Tom about the trooper Tom about the bolo and stuff and they just kept it really low key, undercurrent and stuff like that, just to keep that alive. So when he finds out later at the end of the show, that it'll be trooper Tom lets out that we got her last time, so we'll find her again. So, well, last time? What are you talking about? And he doesn't even let that just that little small little look, and he realizes, she
left me before.
And Art knew.
And Art knew. So then that really colored that last scene with them, with Art, because now he knows Art knew and he didn't tell him. And 'cause Art knew. Well, I figured she'd tell you.
And
and he goes, Rachel know, Tim, they all knew. Everybody knew, and that's the last thing he wants.
It just makes him look bad.
It does make him look bad, and he can't stand that.
No. Yeah, that probably hurt more.
Yeah.
We did get to see Tim briefly. He brings Quarles' FBI file.
Right.
I don't know. He said, you owe me big time for this, so I'm not sure why he had to sneak it out. But
well, just
he had
did
to
him
go
a favor.
some friends.
He had to get a favor. But the bad thing about it is it tipped Quarles, because so we know now that somebody in the FBI or whomever
there's a mole
tipped Quarles. Because Quarles realized, and we're going to meet them next week.
Evidently, Quarles now knows the pressure point.
Well,
he's starting to. He thinks he does, but he misunderstands that when he finds out that Raylan got to his clinic, he misreads that. Oh, therefore Boyd and he are working together.
Raylan and Boyd, yes.
But he thinks Raylan is.
Well, I was thinking Arlo. Because he found out that
but only after
Arlo is Raylan's dad.
Yeah, but after he says, "Oh, this is great," because now I know that Raylan. I didn't know Boyd had that kind of power to be in that good with a marshal. So he assumes Raylan's kind of on the take or in some way in cahoots, and then it's only after that he say, "Well, Arlo, his dad, is one of Boyd's men."
Oh, right. Okay.
Okay. So, but he misreads it though, because clearly. Although Raylan was in a way doing Boyd's bidding this time, it wasn't because of Boyd. He was doing it for legitimate reasons. That's what. Okay, so now that takes us to the scene that he and Boyd had when he.
Well, actually, I just want to real quickly, just so that scene was between Wynn and Quarles.
Wynn and Quarles. Yeah.
Talking about you need to tell me who this Raylan character is, because basically Quarles is going, I'm getting the lay of the land, right. and right after that, Wynn leaves, Quarles goes into the back of the house and opens the door to that.
Okay, hang on. But we're actually messed up. There's two scenes. The scene that you're talking about where we learn, where he talks about Raylan and
I'm getting
Boyd.
Scolded by you again,
aren't
I?
That happens on the porch. The earlier scene in the house is when, that's when you're talking about with the back room.
We've already passed that one?
We didn't talk about it, but you can talk about it now. I just want to, if anybody was paying attention, I didn't want to confuse them any more than we are.
May I?
Than we are.
We're so tired.
I'm right here and I'm confused.
Anyhow.
I'm sharp as a tack, people.
So just to bring it back a little bit, the scene between Wynn and Quarles, where Wynn says, or where Quarles says to Wynn, I want to know more about Raylan, because he's starting to find out about me. Anyway, Wynn leaves. Quarles goes into the back of the room, opens the door where the guy is tied up on the bed. Still just creepy, scary.
Wrong door, pal.
Closes the door. Wrong door, pal.
So he's been in there for weeks.
I know.
Exactly. closes the door. Wynn comes back, and the look on Wynn's face scared me. That made my stomach hurt seeing him.
Because all he could only hear what was going on in there. And that
terrible nastiness.
And you know that Wynn Duffy has seen all kinds of nastiness and heard all kinds of bad things.
Yeah, he's done all kinds.
And even he's like horrified.
Squeamish about it. That really bothered me, which I thought was fantastic.
and again, they're
how
not
bad can it
going to
be?
explain it. They're going to show it. It's going to be in the moment, and then you wait.
It's got to be pretty bad if Wynn Duffy's squeamish at it, right?
Yes.
I think that's obviously the point.
And I did read that Graham Yost says that guy tied up on the bed does come back in another episode, or maybe 2.
Oh, really?
Yes.
It's really not a bad gig. You just stay tied on a bed and just,
And that's pretty much how he put it. He said, he was just an extra who said he was willing to be tied up into a bed. I'll do it. I'll do it.
What, leave show business?
It's a great gig.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great gig.
And have we ever met Delroy before? Ellen May is the shall we say, lady of ill repute.
And this was her
who survived
manager?
the hit. Her manager. So I don't think I've ever met Delroy, but he's what a charming fellow he is.
He really is. He's a good motivational speaker.
I
loved
that
this is
speech.
Opposite Day.
Yeah.
But
even before that, when we first meet him with Ellen May, he's it's just so skeevy. He's working her like crazy, manipulating her. It's like, oh my God, somebody hit this. I wanted somebody to hit the guy right off the bat.
Trixie gave her life for this.
Yeah,
he's just
I know.
Shut up, you pig.
Yeah, and then later on he said, you have
failed me twice.
And then punches her. He's a charmer.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the reason why that Ava ends up there is because after they go to Limehouse is the one that tells him, where to go.
Yeah.
And he knows that because Trixie, who was the woman that didn't survive, was his informant.
That's right.
So,
we saw her. He gave her money. He gave her money at end of last.
So that's what sends. And Ava is the one that says, "Look, I don't think. I think it'd be better. I think Ellen May would be much more willing to talk to a woman."
She is, in a way, the perfect counterpart to Boyd. She uses her womanly wiles.
Yeah.
To get her way. She's not as crooked as he is, and not as empowered as he is, but she definitely, knows her place with a frying pan. And
that's right.
But everybody is completely disarmed by her.
Yeah.
She walks in, and all the boys are drooling.
Yeah, well, there's a lot to drool over.
I know, it's true.
All right.
So she's definitely the Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah, I mean that's what it looks like. That's where they're positioning those two.
Excellent.
And may I say, it's always fun to see Stephen Root show up as a judge.
Great. Yeah, we didn't even mention that. Stephen, I love that guy.
He's so
Always
much
loved
fun.
that guy. He plays a judge.
Oh, okay.
And he's just been. Oh, he was in
Way
News
back.
Radio.
News Radio was
and
fabulous.
He was.
He's fantastic. Yeah.
He was always. He's a voice in one of the. In Office Space.
Office Space. Excuse me. Office Space.
He was awesome in that. And by the way, this is what I heard, that Swing Line didn't have a red stapler until after that movie.
Oh, really?
And then they started to produce them. That's
stapler.
what I heard. I don't know if it's true.
It's my stapler.
Yeah,
Him.
him.
My stapler.
Yeah, you were gonna need to move down to storage B.
I don't want to move. I need to blow this place out.
He was also on King of the Hill. He did a lot of voices for King of the Hill. So
He's
he is
terrific actor.
a lot of fun. And he honestly, I think he's probably just crazy partier in real life. He just seems the type. I would be bummed if I found out, no, he's in bed by 9, with warm milk.
I wouldn't. I think that would be hysterical because he plays these
He always plays crazy.
whacked out guys.
Yeah, so it's great. But and here's what an interesting thing in this, and we were discussing quickly that this kind of is a setup wrap up episode.
Yeah.
Nothing. They're tying up loose ends and getting things set up for.
And they're really
For other
pushing
episodes
this.
to come.
As I mentioned on the board, they're pushing this convergence because we know all these players are gonna now, and clearly at the end of it, Limehouse knows this is all gonna come. A war is coming,
Yes.
and you put a smack dab in it.
Yep.
In a way, they started it.
Yeah.
In a big way, they started.
Yeah,
it.
that's why I'm saying that when that whole thing happened with Tanner at the beginning when the shootout or whatever.
Yes.
That thing is that set this all in motion. And in Limehouse normally would sit on the sidelines, let it happen because he's got a piece of everything and he knows everything. But this time he's not. Now this time he's gonna have to jump in.
Do you want to
see it
chat about
through.
that scene for a second?
Yeah. What the hell?
I had a great flash on that.
But again, we have to set this is setting. we're back in the slaughterhouse.
Yes. Oh, I know.
Every time we got
but here's-
bad news.
But as soon as they opened that scene and watching him work, there was an urgency and like an irritation of his working. It wasn't smooth. It wasn't taking smooth movements.
The stabbing.
No, there was the movements themselves were aggressive.
Yeah.
And when he was talking to son
Errol.
I don't know if that's his real son or not. I have no idea. Or the character son. It felt to me like the Godfather movie when James Caan goes up and spills the family business at the meeting.
Right. He talks out of turn.
Talks out of turn, and
then afterwards,
where he gets a dressing down.
Yeah, from Papa.
The same sort of thing about we know our business, we know our place, and we're not going to open this can of worms and everything. And you being a big Godfather fan, I'm sure.
Yeah, we were talking about this a little bit before. I haven't studied the Godfather films like most men have. I've seen them. I enjoyed them. I think they're fantastic, and I have a life.
You took Home Ec. We took Godfather.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, it had that. Again, kudos to the show. It had that feel. It had that subtle, menacing. Limehouse knows his place, and he knows it's worked for 15 generations. And
he knows how to work everybody else.
Yes.
Such that they maintain, they prosper, and he finds his way through and navigates this whole thing.
He knows his power is staying invisible. That's his power.
Well,
is if we stay invisible, we get to know everything.
Right.
Unfortunately, Errol did not.
Well, and that you were speaking to the Godfather. That's what they've always they preach is that we don't want the press. We don't want them knowing our business. We don't want any of that notoriety, which is why when wise guys would get too known or too much in the press, they say, that's bad for business. We don't want that.
Right.
So, and that's what I think Limehouse is.
That's why it's called the underworld.
That's right. It's bad for business.
And by the way,
Limehouse business is good.
It's very good. And you only get information if you bank with Limehouse.
Of course.
Evidently. That's what Boyd found out.
That's right.
Yes.
And did you notice the size of the cleaver?
Yeah.
He was wielding.
It's
That was the
huge.
biggest damn cleaver
I've never seen. It almost looked comical.
It did.
Is that the real size?
It looked like he lost his hand and they attached a cleaver. The thing was huge.
Yeah. It's like dwarf looks like Susian or something. Some big old cleaver.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's a prediction.
I'm very scared about the day when a person gets the cleaver. It's gonna happen.
It's likely to happen.
Yeah.
Something's got to happen. You can't keep showing that slaughterhouse without making something come out.
Of course, I'm remembering Boardwalk Empire episodes in the slaughterhouse.
Ooh, yeah. With the butcher.
With the butcher.
With the butcher? I didn't see it.
It's nasty.
I didn't either. I've watched it like this.
Oh, well, now someone was saying, it was at one of the Oscar shows, that when he was little, his dad taught him that you don't do this, close your ears.
It's a scary movie.
Right. Scary movie because there's so much sound effect and so much influence of the sound that actually makes it easier than closing
because it's
your
the
eyes.
sound, it's the music that gets to you emotionally before the visual does.
Yeah.
And he says it works. He does it today. He said he did it through his whole wedding
Although
ceremony.
I don't know if it would happen at a slaughterhouse, but it's definitely for the scary stuff.
I think the slaughterhouse, the smell would get you.
Oh.
All right.
I was there for that conversation. I can't even remember who that was.
You know what? It's
Mario.
Mario. That's
Hernandez.
it. Yes, Mario.
Every moment there is really cool, but it's a blur.
Yeah, they
and then
kind
when
of
you
all
have
run together.
And real quick, when was the last time you saw a fight in a moving trailer?
Oh, yeah,
that was
yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah, right.
And
Right.
Graham
Nice
Yost
action
said,
sequence.
Graham Yost was talking about that, and he was saying, we just, it was one of those things that just kind of came up in the writer's room, and we just knew it would be just a bitch to shoot, but it was going to be really
fun
cool.
scene, but a bitch to shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it wasn't. What was the tag on that? That was it Timothy Oliphant said, no, I don't want to shoot anybody on purpose. And then they go, okay,
just
shoot him by accident.
just to stop a trailer. Yeah,
just to stop a trailer. So that's how the fight
Right.
sequence.
Yeah.
And
Well, then let's make it an accident.
So they shot him. Shot him by accident.
That's the other reason why I wish you guys were here last week, because we were talking the previous week about going the season without him shooting
Oh
anybody.
yeah, he went one episode.
I know, and then he shoots the girl, but then he's talking about being surprised and everything, and we so wanted to have a discussion about
I
was he surprised
know.
about
Yeah.
him having to shoot so early after this test? Or,
Yes.
You know, that was a great line. And
know,
that was the other nice throwback, that when he needs time off and Art's about to look, if it's about the girl, you can't be a gentleman. You know, Winona left me. Oh, that's shitty.
Oh, that.
Again?
Again? Right, exactly.
So,
anyway, yeah. So
obviously, you know, we've been joking around, but the next thing I really want to talk about was Raylan's conversation with Delroy.
Conversation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We kind of touched on it where it says, this is opposite day,
awesome.
and then he stepped out, and then so after that scene, they're
and
outside.
I didn't bring a knife.
Yeah.
On opposite day. Yeah.
yeah.
When they're outside, he says, okay. Delroy just starts into his conversation, gets pistol whipped. It's like, see, now that normally wouldn't happen, because Raylan's usually much more controlled, and you know.
He talks people out of
exactly,
things,
but no, because he's got Winona on the brain, he just whips out the pistol. And
which is why
him.
it was so important for him to be able to carry that you know, to show us that undercurrent in every scene.
And I also think
that
it was really important that they made Delroy do what he did to Ellen May, so that we wouldn't feel
the least
we would feel it was justified that he did it.
I was kind of hoping he didn't stop.
Yeah, I know,
it's
don't
like,
you?
Yeah.
You know, there's really no reason to stop.
Yeah, but
you want to keep her safe? Why don't you just finish the job?
You like the second shot more. I mean, I thought the
That was
second
just
shot was even better.
Absolutely.
That's good
Silly,
stuff.
funny.
I wonder, you know, when he gets the script and he reads it, he goes, I can't wait to do this. This is going to look so cool. Oh my God. If he goes into the writer's room and says, thank you.
Yeah, well,
Thank you for making me look so awesome
you gotta
every
imagine
week.
the writers are thinking that too. I mean, they're creating this badass woman.
Yeah. And you know what they get to work with? They go, absolutely, it's going to look great. I mean, you know, it's all working.
Yeah. I mean, Walton does the same thing. I mean, Walton gets these lines and goes, this could be fun. And okay, now speaking of those two guys, they finally have their scene. We haven't really talked about their scene.
In the bar.
Who are we talking about?
When
Boyd and
Raylan shows up at Boyd's.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, genuine U.S. Marshal Raylan Gibbons. Let's have a hand.
Raylan is all business. How are you gonna pay with the money that you earned by selling Oxy out of my aunt's house? I'm going to confer with my friend.
It was just so smooth. Both of them just being so themselves.
Yeah, and I love Raylan just makes a beeline to the back, you know, because he's gonna have a private. Because every other time he's just had a conversation right in front of everybody else. Yep. Not this time.
Nope.
No, in the back. Come on.
He's kind of losing patience.
Say, I need to have a conversation with you. I need to be private. Nope. Just makes a beeline, and Boyd goes, I'm gonna confer with my friend. That's a great conversation.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if we really want to call it a conversation, but it was a good little.
Oh, he got a great moment there.
Both of them did. That's what I loved is that, you know, Raylan had great stuff with look, this, you know, the next time we have this conversation, I will forget this star. And what does he say?
You will not find Jesus in a hospital.
This conversation
bed.
will not end with you finding Jesus in a hospital bed.
Yeah.
And Boyd says, Boyd tells him, just go to
go to
Delroy, go see Ava, right? And that's when Raylan figures out, you love this, don't you? You love sending the law. What's he called? He says you love getting the law to do your dirty work.
Yeah.
And then Boyd has the last word. He goes, well, I do have a big
tank,
and it saves on gas. It's like, man,
don't you just want to spend a day in the writer's room?
Oh
just
my
sit
God,
in the corner,
yeah, just because you think,
and just go. How often do you rework that line?
I know.
You know, did it come out that way, or does one guy go, no wait,
try it this way.
Is it a dance in there? Did they just?
Because you think Raylan's got the up, he said his thing. You know, he's got. Yes. It's like, yeah, right on. And then Boyd lit it.
Right in underneath.
No, I want to have those writers sitting in the room, and I want to have an earbud so they will tell me what to say to people on a daily basis when I'm just out in the world.
That would be a cool app.
That would be an awesome app.
Who doesn't want to have that?
I know.
If the Justified writers could do something with Siri.
Yes.
You know how much bloodshed there would be.
Oh, a lot.
A lot more.
A lot.
But we'd clean up this town.
Stuff,
that was fun. That was you know, because the last few times we've seen them together, it's been kind of like, are they friends or are they not friends?
Yeah.
And I think
you know,
Raylan's losing patience.
Yeah, well,
quickly.
Walton, when they did an interview with him once, I can't remember when. I think it was in season 2. He was talking about talking to Timothy about Raylan and Boyd and their relationship, and Walton has always said that they're friends. Boyd and Raylan are friends. They just are. And that's how he's always played it. That's how he's always thought about it. That's how he's always gonna think about it. And Timothy doesn't agree with him. He goes, no, they're not friends. They're not friends. So I think that's fascinating.
Yes.
That these two guys who have this relationship as characters, one completely thinks they're friends, the other one doesn't. It's like, and it kind of shows up.
It does.
But you still have, but the way they interact it is a love-hate brother thing.
It's very familial for sure.
Yeah. So.
No, that really does explain a lot.
Yeah.
That Boyd's take on it, and Raylan's, because that does show up absolutely.
And the one thing I've always wanted to know is I don't know how much Boyd, what's the word, holds any kind of resentment towards Raylan for being a lawman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think he realized, that's just that's.
It's kind of selling out for Boyd. Boyd's impression of Raylan is that he's sold out by becoming a lawman.
And here's what I think. I disagree completely. I think he figures, no, that's the choice he made, and I respect it. It's not the choice I made or would have made, but that's the choice he made. And I don't think he holds resentment for it. I think that's how they can still be friends. I don't think that's true for Raylan's character. I think he's pissed that Boyd took that path because let's face it, his father is. In order to rebel, he had to be a lawman.
True.
Because of
Raylan,
his father.
yes,
Yeah, exactly.
absolutely.
That's why I think he holds resentment for Boyd because he is that which he hates. But I don't
Plus,
think it's reversed.
he must respect Boyd's intelligence.
Clearly,
and knows that had gone a different direction.
Right.
You would have been awesome in my job, but as it is now, you're pain in my ass.
Exactly. But that's why I think
But
I
friends,
think he
but
harbors
we're
a lot
not
of resentment. And I
friends.
think it's obviously it's a lot of projection from the dad and stuff like that, not to get too psychological, but that's what I think that's about. And I think he harbors that resentment. But I don't think Boyd harbors any. Even though he shot him.
Right. Yeah. So, real quick on Arlo.
Yeah.
They're opening up another line there. He's going a little crazy.
Yeah, the dementia is being more prominent.
You had mentioned it's because if he doesn't get his meds, they had said that in one of the
they
haven't really
shows in the
touched on that in a
second season.
long time.
Yeah, well, because Aunt Helen was the one that brought it up.
there.
She's the one that said, "Look, you got to bail your dad out of prison. He doesn't have his meds." Blah 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 blah. So.
And he was talking to her. He was talking to somebody.
Oh yeah,
he
we
was
saw in this
definitely
episode.
talking
He was talking to her. He was talking. That's exactly how he would talk to her.
You know something's coming. You know he's going to have a part in it. But
Well, let's face
you
it, he
have no
forgot his
idea how
pants.
Yeah. You have no idea how they're going to utilize it. And I'm just wondering if we're going to see another main character, not survive this season. I wonder if they're going to.
Well, this is what I love.
Arlo go away.
That's why I thought the whole conversation with Coral is that
Mm-hmm.
learning that the father is part of Boyd's group. That's where I think he thinks his pressure point's going to be.
Right.
And I think if he goes, and we'll talk about that in predictions. I'll wait for that. Let's talk about that.
Which is probably coming up pretty soon.
Yeah.
Anyway, right?
But before we get to that, go ahead.
Oh, just nothing. I do want to talk about Winona, but
Right.
Who?
we're gonna get to that eventually.
Oh,
Right?
her.
Right.
Miss can't be married to a lawman.
Well,
Yeah,
I think
she
we can get
can't.
to it now.
Okay. So
Because I don't know. There's nothing else I want to cover in what occurred. But there's
you were looking at your notes. So I was
Yeah.
just
No,
waiting
I
for
got
you
to everything. I just want to get back to Winona.
One of the things that I read was that there may be a potential new love interest for Raylan.
Really?
Now that Winona is gone, has
Whoa.
flown the coop.
That was quick.
However, Winona
Right.
is not gone for good.
Right. She'll be
Because
back.
specifically, Graham Yost said you'll see a couple of other sides to Winona this season.
Interesting. Well,
And that was
yeah.
recent. That was not at the beginning of season 3. That was recent. That he said
Right.
that in fact in the last week. So it's we have already seen some other sides to Winona,
Yeah.
but we will continue
Well,
to.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see as the pregnancy progresses. What that mother instinct will do and how that will
Yes.
kick in.
Here's the thing with that, because I was thinking, okay, so they could have this, we're together, we're not together, we're not together, we're back and forth continually as
Right.
this thing, or they could say, nope, that was just a moment. She's, now over here. Here comes this new girl, and
Right.
these writers in this show could do it well either way.
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
would
they can
bet,
handle it easy.
I would bet that they would do it the latter, where they kind of like put her off. She's now made this decision.
Mm-hmm.
Well, kind of like she's a peripheral. Let's bring in this new person.
And kill her.
Kill her.
Kill her.
You know what
So
I mean?
then
Because she could still
we'll go
be
back to
part of
Winona.
it.
Right.
And I kind of like that decision because I've always been going, how are you going to keep the baby and everybody safe and still have this story and still have all of this?
Yeah, because let's again, well, let's hold that for predictions. But here's the thing about the Winona storyline, that because when we first weeks ago when we were talking about it, and she obviously was leaving him, got pulled over, found out he was shot, came back, they started falling in love again, all that kind of stuff. And we were posing, especially me, I was going, what she's gonna stay with this? He just died. She was already ready to leave. He got shot, so everything she was worried about happened, and now she forgot all that. How did that happen? How did she? And so I that was very confusing to me, and I didn't think that for me it didn't play well. I didn't like that.
The last couple of weeks between the two
because
leavings.
they just seemed they didn't seem the kind of people that would be in that kind of a denial.
Yeah.
Because she was very pragmatic, very practical, and also, and it was just suspended for weeks. It's like, what are they ever going to talk about the fact that they're pregnant? Great, they're pregnant. Let's find a house and all that. They're in this honeymoon period. I'm going, does she forget that the whole reason why she was leaving him was because
of his dangerous life?
Of his dangerous life, and now she's going to raise a baby in this. When is she going to come to when is that going to come to the forefront of her brain?
And they also hit it again when Nick the Knife.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah,
Was
he shot
there.
him right in front of him.
Yeah.
And it didn't track. It's like that didn't.
Right.
It took 2 weeks, 3 weeks for that to.
Right.
So are you feeling more settled now, or are you still just kind of annoyed by that?
For me, that didn't work. It didn't.
I agree
for
with
me,
you.
it didn't track.
Is that why you've been yelling at Tammy all day?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly right. I was like, wait a minute. You this woman was very practical. She was very
she was.
and had no problems with saying what was on her mind.
That's right.
And didn't because they had a history together. They were used to saying these things. So it wasn't like they's like, oh, I don't want to offend him. No, she would just say them, and she did. And then all of a sudden she stopped for weeks.
She's pregnant.
But
she doesn't know her own mind.
But here's the way it would have worked for me is if there was some talk about it. It was like, look, I like the way she said, I'm done trying to change you. I'm done trying to pretend that I'm gonna feel about anybody else the way I feel about you. Just give us something like that to guide me through that process, because I didn't buy it. It drove me crazy. And now we finally see it. I was like, where was that weeks ago?
What's been going on for 3 weeks?
No, I agree with you on that. I always thought that was kind of odd that they never addressed any of it.
You're right, John.
And especially to bring it up
right.
right in the first part of the season.
Yeah,
It's like,
because it would have been, first of all, been great grist for the mill.
yeah,
They could have
sure.
still, had the baby talk. They could have still looked for the house. They could have done all of that and still have her conflicted. I thought it would have made it more richer. It would have been deeper, more layered, more conflicted. And while they're trying to make all this happen, she's still. But it was just way too easy for me. And why be easy?
I think you're right.
So
I think you're right.
Okay,
I think
so
that's
that
a
was
really
that.
good criticism.
But the scene in the house I loved the sister, Gail. Man,
Right.
did they look like sisters? That was
Yes.
great casting.
They'd open the door and you go, "Who's that?" I go, "It's her sister, obviously."
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah. And she had that big sister thing. Oh no, you're not coming.
Oh no.
The answer's no.
Yeah,
You don't know
exactly.
what the question
I
is.
haven't said anything.
Doesn't matter.
The answer's no.
Exactly.
The
Yeah.
answer's no.
Yeah, that was great. And a nice little scene with them, though. I love that. The great thing about him thinking that there was money involved, or that she took the money, is that he was already flying in there with all kinds of anger.
I'm not going to help
which-
you put it back.
Exactly. And so it allowed him to be angry about this one. And what he's really angry about was two lines.
2-line ladder.
That's it. Well, let's get your stuff and get out of here. And
He just figures he's gonna just
Yeah,
take
he never
over.
said, please come back.
No.
It was always, we're just going to get your stuff and
Yeah.
everything. And
You
she's-
But-
foolish woman.
yeah, but as soon as she starts talking about the poker game and says, "Look, if you wanted to change your life for me, you would have done it already." He
Excellent
knows. I
point.
mean, he knows, and he just sits there. He's resigned. He already knows. He knows before he goes there that because he even says, "I know I'm supposed to look for." He knows what's up.
he would
knows
float
what
this
he
fantasy about Glencoe, but he didn't really pursue it. There was always something else. And
No, he can't. I mean, it's not him yet.
no, it
That's
isn't.
not as much as he wants to be. I mean, he told Art, "Look, I gotta get in a different line of business," but he's not gonna. He's just not.
Art
there
kind of
yet.
laughed at him.
But there was the caveat that she gave, which was, "I do know we still love each other."
Yeah.
So
Yep.
obviously it's not
And,
over.
you know,
over.
Well, I
And
think
they're going to have a baby in
Yeah,
theory.
So they're gonna.
And
I'm dubious about them actually having a baby. I just
Really?
want to say I'm giving a little
okay. Well,
prediction
so,
there.
all right.
but-
All right. All right. Well, let's wrap this up. Let's go to break.
Do we
What's the hang?
No, go ahead. That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, let's go to a commercial, and then we'll come back and we'll talk predictions.
Let's
So,
let's
Ron?
just go straight to predictions. Actually.
Okay, we're gonna go straight to
Yeah,
predictions.
let's,
So let's do that.
Okay,
And
that's
then we'll
fine.
go to our break.
No special segment.
We're gonna do that after a break.
Your
Okay.
AfterBuzz
So-
TV.
No, I think we're going straight to predictions.
We're doing predictions,
Oh,
and then
right
we'll do a
now.
break, and then we'll do a
That would be
special
the
segment.
sound.
Yeah.
That's this now.
Okay.
Hi, Steve.
So,
Welcome.
Here, go ahead.
I
predictions.
think Winona. I think we're gonna lose her for a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think she's gonna come back with a vengeance. I don't think they're going to have a child.
Wow.
If I get my fix out of Justified, it's going to be an ugly way in which they don't have a child.
Oh wow. So
I mean, that could be in a lot
well,
of.
that changes my prediction because I was, I'm right now postulating that Quarles thinks that Raylan's somehow on the take with Boyd,
Right.
and then he finds out about Arlo, his father, and okay, so that I think he's gonna think that Arlo is his pressure point.
Yes.
Raylan's pressure point. He's gonna find out sadly that that's really not
No.
Raylan's pressure point.
Nope.
But then he's gonna find out about
Winona.
Winona,
That was going to be mine.
and
Because she's far away, he can't keep an eye on her.
yeah, exactly. And if she was close, it might even be worse. But whatever, he's gonna find the Winona out about Winona, and that's gonna be the pressure point, and that could lead to what you were just talking
Yes,
about.
I think it will, because I just can't imagine them putting a baby in Raylan's life. I just can't imagine the writers doing that.
Well, not yet, but it would be interesting to see.
It would be, but what would end up happening is that Winona and that baby would go to California or
Yeah.
something. I mean,
They'd
they would
make their way
they
through
would
El
get
Paso
so
down-
far away
Exactly.
that they would not be a factor in his life at all. But I really do. I think that Winona is not going to have their baby, and I think it's
Okay.
going to be
Wow.
difficult and ugly.
I think Errol is in for a really bad day.
Yeah. Okay, so there's that. There's that
yeah.
prediction. Yeah.
I think Errol is not going to enjoy what's coming his way. And I
Yeah.
think Arlo will not make it through this season. I think
Hey guys.
Yeah.
going to.
Really?
Hi.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey,
Phil?
good.
Hi, Phil.
How are you?
Very
You
well.
just
Fantastic.
magically
How are
appeared.
you?
I know. Well, I didn't see this episode, and so I'm not going to give a prediction. But I will say this: for those of you who are fans of the network, you know that I'm a fan of a lot of FX shows. That includes Archer. And on last night's episode, they parodied Archer.
They Archer parodied Justified.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
Did I say that right?
You said Archer parodied Archie. Archer parodied
sorry.
Archer.
Phil's been doing the same thing, but we
Yes.
all
Yeah,
have been
well,
doing this.
Phil
We're
has
all
been in the
tired.
We're all
trenches
sleep
with
deprived.
us, so
Yes,
Exactly. Okay, so
So-
Archer parodied Justified.
Yes, which was nice to see, because they're both FX shows. And
Right.
so the episode for Archer was called Bloody Furlan. Obviously, the reference to last year's Bloody Harlan, the
Bloody
season
Harlan,
finale
yes.
of
Yeah.
the episode. And they have a character there called Ray Gillette, and he had to go back, and they called him Ray Gillette, just to bring him back more to Raylan
Raylan.
Givens.
Yeah.
But they switched the perspective because everyone hated the cop, so it was almost like he was the Boyd character.
Oh, nice.
More so than Raylan.
Uh-huh.
And then the reason he went back to the county, I forget, something like that. They were basically calling it the county, like they kind of do in Justified, was because his brother wanted to sell drugs, and he had to help him out. So it was very funny.
So it was a good. What was the episode called again?
Bloody Furlan.
Bloody
'Cause that's
Furlan.
what
We
they-
gotta
that's-
check that
that's
out.
what
Check
it
out
went.
Archer.
Yeah.
If you're a
so-
fan of Justified, go check out Archer.
and
Bloody
Archer is a
Furlan.
very
Gonna look
smart
for that.
show.
It is, it's
and
a-
they got
it's-
picked up for season 4.
Yeah.
Yes. that's
So
good.
they don't
writing a
watch it
note.
with your young kids. I'm
Little cross
giving
promotion
you-
there with the FX shows. That's nice.
Giving you a warning.
I
It
like
is
that.
not
By
for
the way,
kids.
I mean, for me, I really, really like FX.
Yeah, they've got great programming.
Yeah,
Wonderful
comedy,
choices.
drama,
Yeah.
their movies as well, which we don't cover movies too much, but as you guys said, we started to. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll let you guys finish up with predictions. I just
That
wanted to
sounds
bring that
interesting.
quick
I'm
news bite in.
Okay.
So
Thank you,
gonna look
Phil.
for that.
Before we
on
go, I
Archer.
want to give him some praise for his work that he did at the Oscar gift suites. He did a
Absolutely.
fabulous
Oh
job
my
producing
God.
it, putting it
Absolutely.
together,
Absolutely.
putting a bunch of ragtag team and making them.
Collectively, John, Tammy, and Steve. What did you guys do? Like 20 shows?
No. He did a great job wrangling people and getting the job done and
but
producing
with all
it.
the people moving in and out and all the decisions
Yeah.
that had to be made and people showing up at the spur of the moment
Yeah.
and you having to sometimes go, no, we're not going to, but mostly saying we'll figure it out. You were always right there. So that was a
Yeah.
hell of a job you did.
There's a lot of chaos.
Way
that
to
was,
captain the ship.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the connections we made for Justified, as you guys said with
Yes.
Erica.
Yeah, that'll be good.
It's
We
really
get some people on
exciting.
here. So let them know how much
So
we like the show.
we'll get that big finale show, right? We'll get the big
Right, like the Breaking Bad.
season
at the
premiere.
Beverly Hills
Season
Hotel. We're gonna take the whole
Yeah.
auditorium room there.
Is that where we're going? Beverly Hills
That's
Hotel?
what
Why
I'm
not?
pushing
Let's
for.
dream big.
All right.
That's where I'm
It's dream
pushing.
big, exactly.
Oh,
I'd
all right.
rather dream bigger than that, but sure.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
I'm open to
Staples
that.
Center. There we go. They're a big
Staples Center,
screen.
that's it.
All right.
Woo!
All
Well, thank
right.
you. That was interesting.
Thanks, Phil.
Yeah,
Yes.
cool.
Thank
Well,
you.
with that, I think we've covered everything. We've
I think
handled
that's it.
predictions. We're good.
Yeah, you know what?
All
we
right.
lasted
Get us
about-
outta here.
We lasted
With that,
30
we get
minutes
some
longer.
sleep.
That's yeah.
Yes.
We gotta go get some sleep.
Yes.
Woo!
What's that like? I can't
Let's hear it
remember.
for sleep.
All right,
Thank God I have a
ladies and gentlemen.
GPS who can get me back home.
All right,
you
on
live
behalf
3
of
blocks
Ronnie
away.
Jr. in the booth, Phil Svitek on the couch, we got Steve Bottomley at
Bottomley Steve on Twitter.
Tamara Berg.
At Tamara Jewelry on Twitter.
Phil, they get you.
Follow at AfterBuzz.
That's right, follow us. And Ronnie Jr., where are they following you?
At Ronnie Jr. Media.
All right, just don't follow me because I'll call cops on you. All right, on behalf of AfterBuzz TV, want to thank you for listening in. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
you later.
Views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.